Go for it.
Okay. The meeting of the Economic Development Committee is now in session. We have 6 licensed premises that we have to look at. Plus we have an exhibit from the Morris Park bid. Now, we're going to be as efficient as possible. So let's start with Zimmy, Z-Y-M-I. And
Sure,
Zimmy's
I'm
at
here.
726 Astor Avenue. Is anybody here familiar with that location?
No.
Okay, if you're not, I'm fairly familiar with it. I've been there and I've seen the place and actually passed on the place since it opened. Zimmy's is a nice little spot on Astor Avenue. It's got a complete glass front. It has a small service bar and indoor seating. Mostly neighborhood people, old timers come in there and drink coffee during the day. The police have absolutely no problems with this place. We've never had a problem with this place. And if there are any questions, please ask them now. If not, I'm going to move to approve this.
Oh, we have the owner. He's present.
He's
Yes,
present?
I'm here.
Oh, great.
Yes, I'm here.
I spoke to Mr. Capra and today, and of course, again, I know the place. Would you like to make any comments?
No, I'm okay.
You're good with it?
Yes.
Any members of the board, community?
Joe, I'd like to know if this place have an egress at the back and front.
Yeah, it has a 2 egress. It's not in the back. They have 2 doors on either side. It's got a complete glass front. And so there's 2 ways of getting in and out.
And food is prepared there, right?
They
Yes,
have
sir.
prepared?
where's the owner? Is he on?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Owner.
All I saw was like finger food. Is there more?
Yes.
Because I know you have
Exactly.
an outdoor.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's finger food.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a hood that makes food there, or just
Yes, I have the complete hood. I have the system. Everything's up to date. I get it serviced
Okay.
every 3 months.
Okay. All right, that's good. If you have that, then
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Yeah, he runs a pretty nice place. He's got a couple of seats outside. I guess with the pandemic, everybody's got a couple of seats outside. So,
Joe, what is your hours of operation?
I close at 10 o'clock every night.
yeah, that's
7
right,
days.
10 o'clock.
10
Yeah.
o'clock. Okay.
Okay,
That's all I
I don't
have.
stay open. I never
John,
stayed
you wanna
open
make a
even in the past
motion?
before the pandemic. I never stayed open past 12.
What you said, Joe?
no, I said, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion and send to the SLA for
We
a
have
recommended.
no objections. Okay,
That we have no objection now.
okay, all board members?
Gotta
Joanne,
get second.
Edith? Okay, we need a second.
I second it, Joe.
Okay. All in
Open.
favor?
Aye.
So Joe, you're making the motion and Purdom, you're seconding it?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I want to make sure I have it right for the minutes.
Oh,
In favor.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. We have no objections to Sydney. The next one is the Atrium Hotel.
Thank you.
That's in, oh, you're most welcome. Keep up the good work. Your place is a pleasure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I try to run a tight ship. Thank you, guys.
You're
Well, you
more
do.
than
You
welcome
run
to
a very
leave if
good
you want to. You don't
shop.
have to stay.
And the old timers have a place to sit and have coffee during the day, which I like very much.
Yeah, thank you. It's a comfortable setting. Thank
They're
you very much.
comfortable.
I
Yeah,
just want
thank
to
you.
just a reminder, this is a recommendation we're making to the board. The full board will vote on this at the full board meeting on Thursday. You're welcome to come and speak at the full board, but if you want to speak at the full board, you need to sign up for the gallery before the meeting starts.
Correct.
Thank you, Veronica. It's right on target. Okay, our second location is the Atrium Hotel. That's located in the Hutch. It's on the first
It's the
floor. The Hutch. Hutch Metro Center.
It's the Marriott
It is,
Hotel.
Marriott Hotel, yeah.
Yeah. And it's located on the first floor. It has nothing but seating. Table for two, table for four, soft sofas. They have a small service bar. There is no stand-up bar or sit-down bar. And again, it's watched very closely. They have plenty of security in the Hutch. Police, of course, have no problems with the Hutch at all. So I'd like to get a motion. I'd like to ask questions first. Anybody have any questions they'd like to ask?
No, I know the location. I met them last time already.
Right. Okay. So let's have a motion. Anybody? Joanne, you like
Veronica.
to make motions.
No, I don't. I'd like to make a motion to, you have to remind me because I just got on because I didn't have sound. So
Oh,
maybe
okay.
someone else should make the
Usually
Well,
motion.
let
send a
somebody
letter
else
of
make the
no
motion. Then
Okay.
we'll let somebody else make the motion. Darrell?
Guys,
Is Darrell here?
Hello?
Motion to, yes, I'm here.
Oh,
I want to put a motion to pass,
No objection.
okay.
I
No
second it.
objection.
usually to send a letter of no objection to the state liquor
SLA.
authority.
That's it.
And
Thank you.
again, I don't
I
think we have a
second it.
representative here, or do we?
That's me, Clement.
Yeah, Clement Clear, yeah.
Oh, okay, Cleary, you're here.
He's there.
Okay,
Yes.
so again, we have no objections to your place. Well run, well lit, huge, beautiful place. And
Thank you.
We
I
have to vote
spoke
on it, Joe.
to
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
be opposed. And again, as Veronica pointed out, if you'd like to come to the full board and hear this, because that's when we have the final. But that's up to you. Okay? Okay.
Okay, Mr.
Motion passes.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thanks for coming in. Our next one is Curvins. We have a representative from Curvins. We don't have a representative? Okay, let's give her a chance. We'll come back to it. Give her a chance to come in. Let's go to the Golden Corral, which is at 2375 East Tremont Avenue. Many people remember the location.
Sisler.
They also have a couple of thousand feet of space. They have service bar only, and of course, it's wide, it's beautiful. Police have no problems with it, and the community, to my knowledge, has no problems with that. Chris, you bear me out on that?
Yeah, and actually we have the sergeant online. So the sergeant, he can himself say something if necessary.
Oh, okay. Do you have any problems with that, Sergeant? With the coral, the golden coral?
Not at all, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next is, Los
Joe, I think,
Primos.
Joe,
We got
I
a
think
vote.
me and, no. I think me and Joanne went there to inspect the first time we do our inspection. Everything was fine with the egress and everything.
Yeah,
So we could vote on it. Yeah. Remember, Joanne, we went there?
Yeah, we did go there.
Yeah.
We saw more or less the outside. It looked okay.
Yeah.
I
We have
went
the owner
inside,
present
and
too.
I spoke to the
And Joe,
manager and I looked around. It's a perfect place. So
she with us right now, Joe.
We have, yeah, we have the
let's have a
owner too.
motion. Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Let's have a motion.
Lieutenant also is
Whose
here with
turn?
us.
Okay, Darrell, why don't you make this motion for the Golden Corral?
Make a motion to pass, I'm not great at saying these lines.
Send a letter of no objection. We sent a letter of no objection.
All right,
Objection.
I want to put a motion to pass a letter of no objection for the Golden
SLD.
Corral.
New York State Liquor Authority.
For the minutes, what were the alterations that they're making to their license?
So
Oh,
we're,
she's
changing,
right there. You could ask her.
we're changing from a beer and wine to a full liquor.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's the only alteration that we're
Yeah.
making. Our methods of operation has not changed. Our hours of operations have not changed.
Yeah.
I also would like to add a note that we are a family dining establishment. We're not looking to be a full bar. We're not looking to change our methods of operation at all. And any alcohol that would be offered would be in a limited capacity. For instance, just pina coladas, margaritas, and probably one more frozen drink, and that's it.
And again, they
One
don't
question.
have a stand-up bar. They have a very small bar, service bar.
I do have
Also
one
be-
question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right, this is Darrell Bowen. I just wanted to ask, the Golden Corral's eating establishment right now at a 50% capacity?
We are, however, we're not operating as an all-you-can-eat buffet due to COVID. So everything is a la carte.
Got it. And how's the air capacity? Like, how's the air moving inside the establishment?
The MERV 13 filters. It's a newly constructed building, so everything's top of the line, new to standard.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you so much.
Well, I'll add to that, Darrell. All the seating and the tables are well spaced. So nothing's crowded in there, nothing's packed in there. So people are pretty safe. Okay. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we have a motion and it's passed. No objections to the Golden Corral.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thank you for coming. Bye now.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Let's see. Now we have Los Primos at 690 Allerton Avenue. Now, Los Primos was always a food establishment. It's a rather large place. So they put in their back room, which is about 500 feet, a bar. Now, there's no seating at the bar. There's 2 or 3 small tables, and of course they have food. There's 2 or 3 small tables with a couple of chairs, and they serve alcohol there, but they have 3 means of egress. It's a well-established location.
Did you have a police report on this place?
Yeah, no objections.
Okay.
The
All right.
reason it's going for their new liquor license is because they're changing ownership. They had a liquor license prior to this owner.
Yeah.
Joe, we
But
have the
again-
lieutenant, have the sergeant, if any questions, they're present.
Yeah. Sergeant, do you have
Great.
anything to comment on that?
No, Mr. Thompson, but I also want to introduce the new Special Operations Lieutenant, Lieutenant Carrasquillo. It's online, and he's going to be
yeah.
actually
Matter
referring
of
to any
fact.
questions. He's on board now.
Okay,
So
but
he,
if he just came, I think I'd rather get your views on this.
yes, that's true.
Okay,
No, he's been on the
all right.
meeting. He's been on the meeting actually since the beginning.
I know,
But
but for the
referring to those
community's
primos,
sake,
there's really
for the
nothing.
history,
Say that again.
for the history,
I think
what's going on, your impression, is this a
of this place.
legitimately good place?
Well, we don't have any issues with those primos, and there have been nothing going on as far as the police department being involved lately there at all.
Okay, that's fine. Do I have any other questions from the members of the board?
No, Joe.
No,
Let's make a motion.
Joe, there's a
Yes.
problem with the address. It's
The
698,
address?
not 690.
Well, it's the whole place is 690, so leave it
That's
that
the
way.
entrance to the apartment building. Las Primos is
Well-
on the corner, 698 is the address. Just letting you know.
698?
Yeah. Well, leave it at 690 because that's the number they've got on the door. So we're gonna leave it there. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we send a letter of no objection to the SLA for this establishment.
I second it.
Okay, any objections? Okay, then it's
No.
passed. We send a letter of no objection. Okay. Let's go to Oak Park Venue 2, TOO, 2429A East Tremont Avenue. This is fairly new, and I did not see anybody there when I came, and it was locked. I called the number, but I didn't get it, but I understand we have a representative from Oak
Is
Park.
here?
We don't have one?
Where is? We
Ms.
don't have.
Gonzalez, can you hear us?
I can hear
Oh,
you.
she was having
Okay,
trouble
good. We
with her
can hear
phone.
you now.
Right, I can hear you. It's just that I don't know, for some reason, I'm not computer literate, but this platform is just going in and out for me. But you can hear me now, right?
Yes, we're hearing you, Ms. Gonzalez.
I
Okay.
can't hear her though.
No?
Ms. Gonzalez, can you hear me? Oh, I guess it's got to go through you, Chris.
No, she's unmuted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
we
hearing
can
you
hear
now.
you.
I can hear
Yeah.
you now.
Okay, okay.
Okay, Ms. Gonzalez,
Yes.
I'd like to ask you a
First,
couple of
can you
questions.
turn off your cell phone, Ms. Gonzalez, because we're having an echo.
Okay.
Either keep the computer or the cell phone, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
If I turn the cell phone on, I can't hear you for some reason, so I'm listening to
Just mute,
both. So
mute
before
the
was fine, but can you
computer
hear
and
me
you'll be
now?
fine.
Use just the computer, Ms. Gonzalez, because we can hear you through the computer.
Oh, you can hear me through the computer.
But can she
Okay, I
hear
can you
us?
through the computer. Okay.
Can she hear us now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, Ms. Gonzalez, I'd just like to ask you a few questions. Number one, when did you open?
What was it in, it was about 6 months ago, about 6 months ago. Yes, about 6 months ago, but we're not fully operational until we get our liquor license. We've been doing things for family, but nothing, to the public as of yet. And besides small conferences, classes, someone had a driving class there. They needed a space to run, a class for driving. They needed to do that 6-hour driving. And then someone else needed a conference. But that's about it for the last 6 months until we get our liquor license.
Okay, had you ever owned a liquor license before?
No, not as of yet. This will be the first time.
When you say we, how many owners do you have? And who are they?
It's 5.
5 owners?
On the corporation, you mean in our corporation?
Oh, it's a
You mean as we're
corporation.
working? Yeah, it's a 5-member board. It's a family run business. So it's 5 of us in the family. So we all are taking active, activity inside of the place.
I know, but is this a registered corporation?
Yes,
You are.
yes.
Okay, what's the name of your corporation?
Oak Park Venue 2, TOO.
I'm sorry, say that again. Oak Park
Oak
Venue 2.
Park Venue 2, TOO.
Okay, Inc. Okay. And
Does
thus far,
anybody
you
have it on the agenda?
thus far, I'll let the panel speak in a few minutes. Had you ever owned an establishment like this before?
Just a catering establishment. I've done catering. I had a business in Harlem for about 8 years that I'm still currently running too. It's called Lady Lexus Suites. My daughter and I run that. We currently run that now. We cook for about 1,500 people, the homeless, and for a senior center a week. We cook out of the incubator kitchen now because due to COVID, we had to give up our spot, so we cook out of the incubator. So yes, I've run a business.
Okay. Had you ever had a liquor license before?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, I just want to ask you a couple of questions about the structure. I notice you've got a front door. Do you have a rear door or any
No.
windows?
Good
It's
question.
on the other side. It's a side door. It's just 2 side doors, one in the front and one on the side.
And where does that lead to?
Correct.
To the front.
Okay. Well, that's kind of hard because you're closed in on both sides.
Right. It's 2 doors in the front, but yes, we are closed in on both sides. Yes.
And you don't have a rear exit. Am I correct?
No.
Okay, this is a little problematic here. I think we may need some more information from you, and I think we have to make an in-person inspection on this.
Okay.
So I would have to probably suggest this, unless somebody on the panel has another suggestion. I would suggest that we finish this and come back next month.
Not a problem. And
Joe?
when will we set up the inspection for you guys to come and look?
Yes, definitely. I'd like to come tomorrow.
Okay.
What time would you be
What time could you open for him?
open?
9 in the morning. Anytime in the morning is fine.
9 in the morning?
That's fine. Anytime in the morning is fine.
Okay, do I have anyone on the board who would like to come along with me, who's got time? I would like to have another member of the board. Maybe you can suggest a time that you can come and you would be free. How about the evening,
The evening is fine.
Diane? Okay, can anyone
What
come
time?
during the evening from our board?
Can we do the next day? I have a class. I teach at night. I'm thinking about it depends on what time are you talking?
Oh, what's a good time for you? 6, 8?
Now I'll be teaching at 6 o'clock. I teach at Torah online. What about Friday morning? Is that fine? Mornings are always good for me.
Okay, listen, I don't want to belabor this. So what'll happen is we'll contact you tomorrow. And you give me a couple of days, a couple of dates and a couple of times that we can come and take a look, and we'll come and take a look. Is that fair?
Contact information, or do I just call the board and I can get your contact information that way?
Well, you can get my contact information, you can, but I'll give it to you right now.
All right.
You have a pencil?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay, 917 783
Okay.
4180.
Thank you.
and we'll contact me tomorrow. We'll set up a date and a time, and we'll come out and we'll take a look at it. And any suggestions we can make that can help you and smooth the way,
Okay.
we will.
Thank you
Okay?
so much.
Thank you.
Can I, Joe, can we ask a few questions before you go over there?
Sure.
Hold on just a second. Shadow.
Before you go,
Yeah.
Ms. Gonzalez,
Yes.
can you fill up the form on our website? We have a Community Board 11 liquor license form. If you get on our website, you go to forms and guidelines, and it has a form. It's
Can you
liquor
go
license.
slow, please? I'm trying to look. You said go to your website.
Yeah, go to the website, go under forms and guidelines,
Yes.
and it has a form about liquor license, Community Board 11 liquor license form. Can you fill it out
Okay.
and email it to me, please?
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Who's that that's speaking?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
okay.
Who am I speaking to now? I just want to write your name down.
This is Chris. We spoke together.
Okay.
You actually can look for my email again on our website under contacts.
All right. Thank you.
You got it.
Okay, and thanks for coming. And we hope we can
Thank
be
you.
of some help to you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Joe,
thank you.
Joe, can I give you a point of
Yeah,
information
Robert.
on this?
Sorry, what?
Okay. Can I give you a point of information? There is an early childhood learning center at 2433 next door to them. And I'm sure the officers can attest to that. Am I right?
I wasn't sure of the two buildings next to it. So
One has
maybe,
a big sign on it, early childhood learning, and it's a freestanding school. I'm sure you know the 200-foot rule.
yeah. Well, I'll have to go, when I go, I'll take a look at it, Robert, and if you're right, that's another thing that we have to discuss.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Just letting you know.
Thank you. Okay, Robert, thank you for bringing that up. Okay. Now let's go back. Is Kerbin's here? Well, Kerbin's is not here. And I don't really want to hold this up, but I don't really think that it's so important for her to be here. Let's have a little discussion about that. Now I've checked with the police, and the police have no problems with Kerbin's. The inspector has no problems with Kerbin. She brought in the tape, which was supposedly destroyed, and he gave her a clean slate moving forward. So he has no problems with extending her hours. Now, I have no problem with extending her hours either. It'll be until 4 o'clock. She's presently open until 3 o'clock. And of course, small businesses, we've got to lean over a little bit backward for them a little bit. But the police have had no problems. And we had said when she came in that if you had no problems, then we would seriously consider extending your hours. Well, she has no problems. Could be the pandemic, but she has no problems. And it's a small business. We all know that she needs that extra hour to keep in business. And definitely after this pandemic, just to come back or just to hold up. So we'll have a discussion and let me know what you feel. So who
Joe,
wants
I
to
don't
say
have enough
something?
problem. I don't have a problem with the extension of the hours, but I just want you to know that this thing will come to the general board, and you usually have a problem there. So I just want to be also prepared for that.
Well, I'm
Because the
going
last time
to.
I will give my okay for the extra hours. I don't have a problem with that. I met them twice. They came there twice to vote, and we passed them. But the extension of hours, we did discuss that, and we said we'll on this meeting that we will consider it, and I will give my okay.
Okay.
I agree
Can I hear from the
also.
rest?
I agree also. I just want to know, of course, with COVID, they only can be open till 12 o'clock anyway, right? Not
When
till 3.
COVID lifts, though, but she'll
When
have that
COVID lifts, of course.
when
Yeah.
COVID lifts.
Okay, okay.
All right, I know, Darrell, you had an opinion on this, and I know Edith had an opinion on this.
Correct.
Yeah, I just like all the businesses in the area, I feel she should have a fair shake like everybody else. In terms of the hours, because a lot of small business right now, as we know, on the strip of White Plains Road is actually suffering. So the more the better, because small businesses add to the ingenuity of the economy, and that's the only way we're going to get back after COVID. So I'm all in favor. And
Okay.
as everybody remember when AOC was on one of our calls, I think it was not the last meeting prior. I think that was in March or February, one of the months. PPP is very, very important to these small businesses, and there's a lot of loan forgiveness. So that's going to be ongoing. So whatever we can do to help businesses in the area, that'll be a great thing. So I'm in favor.
Okay. Any other comments? If not, Joanne, you want to make a motion?
Okay.
You want comments from the public, Joe?
Not really.
You're supposed to get them before you vote, not afterwards.
Well, Robert, give me a comment.
Okay, I am completely in favor of this addition of hours, and it's from 2 a.m. In 2019, the board rejected her opening from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Not 3 a.m., it's been 2 a.m. Okay? Number 2, the structure in the street. I would like it if you would mention that structure is completely legal according to the mayor's outdoor dining rules. All right, there's nothing wrong with that structure. It is completely legal. And the business, I've been in there several times, different nights, different days, and it has been nothing but a pleasure to some of the bars that I've been in other community boards. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, Bob, just one thing. It's okay to do that as long as you have permission from the other businesses. And I'm not too sure about that, okay? You have to have permission from those businesses that you're
It's the
encroaching on.
landlord, according to
their
the mayor's
space.
rules. It's the
Well-
landlord, not businesses.
Well,
Read the mayor's rules on open dining.
nobody has seen any statements concerning that or the landlord's permission. And I'd like to see those things in writing. I'm funny that way. Okay, so let's have a vote. Are there any objections to extending the hours till 4 o'clock?
Joe, we need a second.
I'll
Who would
second.
like to
I'll
second?
second.
Well, you made the motion. Ferdinand, why don't
I
you
didn't
second
make
this?
the motion. I didn't say a word.
It's Darrell Bowen. Second.
Okay. So Darrell seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
None opposed. Hearing none, the board recommends that curbings be extended another hour. That's our recommendation to 4 o'clock. And that takes care of our licensed premises. And now we'd love to hear from the Morris Park bid. I'm greatly in favor of bids. I think it's the only way small businesses really are going to succeed. And they have to join together. They have to be together to fight off the big package stores with free parking and the rest of it. So if we're going to have small businesses, the bid is the best way to glue everybody together and get people into the community. Can we have the bid?
Yes, thank you so much, Joe, for your comments, and we feel absolutely the same. And this is why we are here again, because we wanted to get back to you with the results of our commercial district needs assessment study that we presented. I believe it was early fall. So without further ado, I will just say that the presentation will be done by our new program manager, Selami Emeru, who is here on the line. But we also have two very special guests with us tonight. They are Carrie Dunphy, our program manager from New York City Department of Small Business Services, along with Michael Cavalar from the New York City Department of Planning. And we will try to keep it short as we discussed. Let's hope for 10 minutes, and then we are of course open to all your questions. And just want to reiterate, we are here to hear you, to show you what we found. This presentation is also available on our website in the longer format. So without further ado, I will let Selam make the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Camelia. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. As Camelia mentioned, my name is Salam, and I'm the new program manager with the Morris Park bid. Thank you all for having us here on presenting our preliminary findings from the Commercial District Needs Assessment. And without further ado, I'll just go straight into it. Next slide, please. So a little bit about the agenda of the presentation. So I'm going to skip over the neighborhood text because I'm sure everybody's well aware of the neighborhood. I'll go a little bit into the findings of our business inventory in terms of retail mix and vacancy, as well as storefront and streetscape conditions. And then I'll touch on the merchant and consumer survey highlights that we've gotten, as well as the COVID-19 impact, and then finish off the presentation with some strengths, challenges, and opportunities. So I'm gonna skip over this slide. I think everybody's aware of the Avenue NYC program, which is essentially a 3 commercial revitalization initiative. Next slide, please. And here are just some pictures of the data collection process. Fresh produce giveaway was a perfect opportunity to engage with the community while also collecting data. Next slide, please. So here in the neighborhood context, the only thing I'll mention is just the geography of the study area of the commercial district needs assessment. So the study area is comprised of 4 major commercial corridors, which includes Morris Park Avenue, White Plains Road, Lydig Avenue, and Williamsbridge Road. And the entire study area spans across 55 blocks. Next slide, please. So reflecting in all of the data collection and data inputting and analyzing that we've done, we've identified a few key takeaways that we wanted to highlight. So the first is that in all of the corridors in the study area, there are multi-generational businesses that have deep engagement roots in the community, which anchors this community-oriented feel to the corridors in the study area. Secondly, despite the close proximity of the different corridors to each other, each commercial corridor is unique and serves a particular niche community, which we'll also get into more later in the presentation. And lastly, that both merchants and consumers think that community programming and public space activation would attract more people to the study area. Slide, please. So as a part of the CDNA data collection, we took a full inventory of the businesses throughout all of the 4 major corridors. Next slide, please. We inventoried a total of 571 small businesses across the corridors and ranked the top 5 types of businesses in each corridor. And from the data, we see in this 4-color diagram here that not only did Morris Park have the most businesses with 208 businesses, White Plains Road as well with 110. Using those 2 as an example, we can also see the difference in retail mix between the different corridors. So in White Plains Road corridor, we will see more clothing and electronic stores, whereas in Morris Park, you'll find more professional services, beauty services, and full-service restaurants. And lastly, from the business inventory, we were able to conclude that the study area had an overall vacancy rate of 8.4%, which is, and there was very little variation across the different corridors. And actually, an 8.4 vacancy rate is pretty low compared to the rest of the city that's experiencing vacancy rates from 10 to 15% more. Next slide, please. So as a part of the business inventory, we also looked at the storefront conditions and found that 50% of the storefronts were in very good or excellent condition, which is a pretty sizable percentage, and also is a really strong attribute of the study area. We also found that only 20 improvement or were in poor conditions. Next slide. So lastly, as a part of our business inventory, we also surveyed the streetscapes in the area and identified some areas of potential improvement. Here we can see some images of trash overflow from waste receptacles, some litter along some sidewalks and streets, also a bit of construction going on from blocked off sidewalk corners to scaffolding, some barricaded sections, which can present itself as a hazard for pedestrian walking, and even public health conditions. And
Let me stop you for, can I stop you for 1 minute? What area are we looking at? Are we still looking at the four corners, or are we looking at Morris Park itself? The bid area in Morris Park.
Yeah, so these pictures, they're taken from across all four of the corridors. So some of them are taken on Morris Park Avenue, some are on White Plains Road underneath the elevated train tracks, and then some are along Williamsbridge Road.
Okay, please continue.
Okay, thank you. And then lastly, I just wanted to touch on this image of a maintained tree pit that actually the Morris Park bid implemented in response to the lack of maintained tree bits throughout the study area. Next slide, please. So another component of the CDNA was the merchant surveys. So we actually surveyed 281 merchants in the study area and got some really interesting statistics that really paint the picture of the neighborhoods. We found that roughly 25% of the merchants have been in business for 21 years or more. And what's more, that half of the merchants in the study area actually live in the area, which really shows the localized and community-oriented nature of the commercial corridors. Some key takeaways that we got from the merchants are that their top 3 challenges include lack of parking and transit, government regulations, and crime and safety. And lastly, that more parking, increased safety, and increased sanitation measures would attract more shoppers to the study area. Next slide, please. So in our merchant surveys, we also surveyed the financial impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the impact that it has had on our small businesses. So we found that 75% of merchants said that they saw a decrease in sales, and 18% of the businesses actually have not been able to meet rent in full since the pandemic started. As shown in the bar graph here on the right, half of our businesses have either applied for federal assistance, have used their drawdown cash reserves, and or have used their personal savings. And something to just mention about this graph is these items are not mutually exclusive, and a business could have done one or all of these things. Next slide, please. So on top of the merchant surveys, we also surveyed 561 consumers in the area to understand their needs better and get a better perspective on their shopping habits. So of the 561 consumers surveyed, we found that 87% of them live in the area, which is a high percentage that also speaks to the local community and local economy really driving these commercial corridors. This graph here on the left shows the difference in consumer behavior before and after the COVID-19 pandemic. And as you can see, 47% of consumers said they do less shopping since the pandemic hit. And something I found interesting was actually 22% of them said they do more shopping since the pandemic hit. Next slide, please. Oh, you can skip this slide. Thank you. So here I included some quotes from some of the consumer surveys, and these were quotes that sort of like spoke to the emerging themes that we saw in the feedback, such as, you know, the commercial corridors having a sense of hominess or community, a sense of culture and diversity, a uniqueness, but also pointing to like the safety and pleasantness of the areas, as well as the personal mom and pop feels of the businesses in the corridors. Next slide. So in the final stretch of the presentation, in reflecting on this process and the data we've collected, we've identified 3 key strengths of this study area. The first is, as mentioned before, a definite strength is the nature of the small businesses having longstanding roots in the community, which is driven by the close-knit and engaging local residential population. Second is the ethnically diverse population and growing diversity of culturally relevant small businesses within the study area. And lastly, the pedestrian friendly and comfortable shopping experiences that consumers get when they come to the study area. Next slide, please. This slide is always so finicky. I'm never sure why the text doesn't show up, but I'll just read through this slide. So 3 challenges that we identified include: the first is limited access to public transportation, which can make it difficult for non-local visitors to reach certain parts of the neighborhood. The second is a lack of accessible public spaces and reliable anchor locations, for community programming, which could enhance the shopping experience in the area. And lastly is perceptions of safety concerns, especially at night in areas that have insufficient street lighting or nightly activity. For example, you know, an emerging theme that came out of the surveys was underneath the train tracks on White Plains Road. Next slide, please. And lastly, to bring this to a conclusion, there are a lot of exciting and impactful opportunities here to enhance the experiences of everybody within the study area, and we've identified a few. So the first is to develop shopping guides and wayfinding materials to attract more visitors from nearby highly trafficked institutions such as the Bronx Zoo or the Botanical Garden. The second is to widely activate open spaces throughout the area for sustained community and cultural programming. The third is developing some sort of marketing intervention that highlights the area's uniqueness and diversity. And lastly, making sure that we are doing all of those things in the most accessible way by investing in technological interventions such as Link NYC kiosks, to make sure that anybody can have access to community updates and relevant information as they become available. And with that, that is the conclusion of my presentation. Thank you all for having me. As mentioned, my name is Salam. That's my email, that's my number. I welcome any questions and feedback, and thank you.
Okay, board members, with questions, please ask them. Oh, I'll ask a question. You've done an excellent job with your slide presentation. And what you're saying is, we know the neighborhood and we know the communities, and we know that what you're saying is on target. What role do you see? Oh, it's nothing, you deserve it. What role do you see our committee and our community board playing in making your lives better?
Yeah, I think for me, what it comes down to just partnerships and working together, whether that be on events, any campaigns or any initiatives. And I think just maintaining like an open dialogue. You know, we want to be as transparent and provide all of the information that we actually collect to the community so that it could be used as a resource for others for any other projects or anything that anybody else would like to pursue. Kamali, if you have anything more to say to that, please jump in.
No, just to reiterate, actually, my thanks to the committee, because I feel like ever since we started this project, we always came to you asking for your ears essentially, and your thinking and your input, and you always been very generous with us. I'm in contact with Joanne every now and then, and she's always sending me ideas or questions. So I know, and I truly appreciate the committee being so so open and so hands-on, sort of say. And what we need from you is to keep being as engaged as you are, and direct and straightforward, so that on our end we make sure that we are in touch with all city agencies and do our best to advocate also directly with the businesses, that we serve the community together the best way we can.
Well, our door is always open, right, Joe?
Our door is always open. And as a matter of fact, I think maybe one or two of us or three of us, because they've never seen a board of directors meeting. If we could sit in on your meeting, I think that would be helpful for our membership, and maybe we can get a better idea of what we can do. So you have to invite us.
Yeah,
I did go to one in the very beginning. It was really, really enlightening. So we'd love to go. All of us would like to go.
So actually, our annual meetings are open to the public, and we always advertise them fairly heavily. We put ads in the Bronx Times. It's always the information. The login information is on our website. Of course, we hope and pray we get to the day where we can have them actually back in person again, and that's when we would welcome you all to be there. The board is very receptive to community input, and especially coming from the community board. And also, I would like to say that the community board is actually represented through its chair, through Al D'Angelo, who is a full board member of the BID in his capacity as a business owner. He's a Class B board member of the BID. And again, all this information, just to tell a little bit more about the process itself. So after we compile all the inputs we received from different stakeholders, we had the same presentation at the Van Ness Neighborhood Alliance last month, and the full presentation is on our website. What will happen now is that we will compile all the feedback, and we will make sure it gets conveyed in the full report, which we anticipate to be ready sometime in the fall before the end of the year, so that maybe we can have together like a nice launch event and to inform the community that we have this data collected now and sort of the future steps.
Okay, well, we thank you for that. Keep us posted. We'll do anything we can to help you. That's really what we're here for. Not to be policemen, but really to help the communities and the business communities. So feel free to call upon us with anything we could possibly do for you.
I just wanted to say that was a very, very comprehensive presentation. This is Darrell Bowen, and I think it's very fascinating, very helpful to get all the metrics about what's going on within the confines of our community and where businesses are being impacted and what we can do to make it better for the businesses. It's fascinating to see that a lot of businesses did take advantage of some of the financial assistance, which I think was very, very important. I don't know if you guys have anything to do with helping businesses access some of these more funding and stuff like that, or assistance between you and the city. Is there anything you guys are doing in regards to that as well? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, so it's interesting that if you look at the study area, there are 4 corridors, but there's only 2 bids. Is a Morris Park bid on Morris Park Avenue and White Plains Road bid covering sort of 3 blocks on White Plains Road. And in the surveys, you can really see how much better informed businesses that are part of bids were compared to the others. Because I mean, during the pandemic, honestly, there was a time I was sending newsletters like every other day just because a new grant was coming, or you know, the PPP was up, or EIDL, or whatever was happening in those days, that from first city, then federal, then state, and I mean they keep happening. And for us, it's super, this is almost this was over this last year our most important role, like conveying information, financial information right away, telling them apply, the deadline is such, line up your documents, all these things. But again, I mean, and this is part of what we do every day, like on social media, all the time. We are super active on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. We send out newsletters. But again, this is the difference kind of a business organization makes, right? Like to our members, to the people that I have in my database, I'm sending this all the time. But the rest of them, they don't have this. So I feel like that's why it's so important also for us to have your network and to have your support, so that this information keeps being circulated to more and more businesses. Morris Park Avenue overall did fairly well. I gotta say, I want to keep my fingers crossed or knock on wood, but we did fairly well compared to other corridors in the Bronx. And I mean, we were verified independently by city planning, by Wall Street Journal, so, and now also by actually on the ground, you know, merchant to merchant, literally data collection. So we are very proud of this 8.4% vacancy rate, which is considered by all standards of very healthy vacancy rate, just to kind of keep the corridor alive.
Well, we
That's very
thank you. Go ahead, Dura.
I don't mean to cut you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to
No,
say
no.
that I just wanted to say that in terms of this presentation deck, are you giving this information out, or how does it work?
Yes, it is public right now. Actually, it's on our website. We can also send you the you know, the actual power presentation through the committee board office if you prefer, or just directly to you. Yeah, this is public information basically. Yes.
Cool, definitely. Thanks for sharing that. And yes, you can send it to the committee or the board. That'll be highly appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe, it's Veronica. I
Go
have a
ahead,
quick
Veronica.
question. One of the upcoming events that happens every year on Mars Park for quite a long time now is the Christopher Columbus Day Parade. I was curious where the Mars Park bid stands on that, if they're going to be a supporter or a sponsor for the parade.
Yeah, Veronica. So in our first year of independent operation in 2019, I was just so happy to be part of that. We had we supported the association with $5,000 direct contribution. We had a carriage with 2 big horses and a bunch of kids. You know, in the carriage, they had a great time. We had 2 ponies, and we offered pony rides to kids along the parade route. It was
Nice.
a really enjoyable, yeah, it was a remarkable event. And who would have guessed then that, you know, we would have such a disturbing following year. So of course, because of COVID, the parade was canceled last year, as you well know. I also feel, but that's sort of my view, that there is a little bit of an issue in terms of organization. I know that there were difficulties also in 2019, kind of negotiating the route and with parks and the office of the councilman and Morris Park Community Association, and how those things were discussed. I don't think that there is a conversation right now because of the uncertainty in terms of um, the regulations. As far as the Morris Park itself, Morris Park bid itself is concerned, we will always be supportive of any type of event that the community enjoys, and we will do our best to support it.
Camelia, I just want to say, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that it's scheduled for October 10th, as far as I know. And Phyllis Natasio, she's actually
I'm here.
now the director.
Oh, hey.
She'd be happy to talk to you about anything regarding the Columbus Day Parade.
I am the chairperson of the parade this year, and the permits have been filed, and it looks like we are going ahead with it. And hopefully it'll be a nice big parade. The route is all worked out, so we're a go.
Good to hear, Phyllis. Maybe you can come by the office and we can have a little meeting just to know each other personally and also see
Absolutely.
how we can support. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'll be there.
Oh, great. That's a nice connection. And Phyllis is doing this for the first time. And I've heard she's going to do a great job.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or any other comments? How about our guest? Any comments from our guest? Okay. And then if that's it, we've concluded our business. Very nice meeting. Everybody's working hard, and I'm tickled to death that the bid is doing so well and has such competent leadership. Anyway, someone make a motion.
Joe, I think somebody wants to speak. I just saw in the chat that someone wants to speak.
Okay, Roxanne, you can go on and mute yourself. Roxanne, can you hear us? If you have a cell phone, *6. Diana Finch, Miss Finch, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So I was just interested to know whether the bid had given the information about the assistance, the financial assistance to the Congresswoman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because it looked like, you know, maybe only half the businesses or less had tried to get the federal assistance. And I know that she's been really trying to talk that up. So I was just wondering if the bid could make sure that she gets that information, because I think it would be very helpful. She should be.
Yeah, that's a great point, Diana. You know, so the way we started this process is we had interviews with all our elected representatives, or better said, we reached out. Alex, be quiet. We reached out to them for interview so that they know our process, and her office actually at that time did not respond to us, but you do bring a great point forward, meaning yes, we should circulate this presentation to all of them collectively, and that's why we are here to share this information with all of them and with the public, and we will do a follow-up round of emails with the elected representatives. I have terrible echo. Yeah, but thanks for the point, Diana. Absolutely noted, and we will follow up so that they know.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for
Lieutenant.
doing that.
Oh, you're welcome. Lieutenant Carasquillo, are you still on the line? Is he muted?
Thompson, I'm on.
Lieutenant Carasquillo.
Thompson, do you hear me?
Oh, yes. Lieutenant, are you going to sit in our meetings from going forward?
Yes, I will be.
Okay. Can you tell us just a little bit about you? We'd like to get to know everybody.
Yeah, sure. I've been at the 409 precinct now for about 3 years. The reason why most of you have never seen me or heard from me is because I was the Midnight Platoon Commander for almost all 3 years. Recently, about 2 months ago, I was made the Special Operations Lieutenant. So now, due to this position, I'll be sitting down in these meetings, for example, and you'll be seeing my face a bit more, hearing me in certain meetings throughout the command a little bit more, having more interactions with me.
Okay, well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Roxanne is next, I believe. Is she muted?
Hello?
Hello,
Hello?
is this Roxanne?
Yes?
Oh, go ahead, please.
Okay, I had to call in because you're not able to hear me through the computer. But I wanted to mention something. First, one of the business that you were speaking so highly about happened not to be happened to have indoor dining when indoor dining was not permitted. It was not blind by COVID-19 face mask requirements. So this is why I bring this up, not because I want to snitch, and I won't even mention the name, because I really don't care if people want to risk their lives, but when they start spreading it to other people who are collateral damage, it's not what we appreciate it. And there were complaints made to the sheriff's office by several residents who were upset because they were often seen having indoor dining with no face mask when that was prohibited by the Department of Health. And that brings me to something else. I notice that when you bring up businesses, you put in your personal opinion. I think you should refrain from personal opinion and just stick with the facts. Because when you mentioned Curvins, you didn't mention any personal opinion on Curvins, but I could tell you that most people in this community who live here, who work here, support her 100% because it's a very diverse establishment. If you look at their customer base, you can't really have a demographic because they invite everybody from all genders, all races, all ages. And this is why we support Curvins, because they are inviting to all who reside or pass through this neighborhood. Second, you're saying you want to see this in writing, whether she has the permission of the property owners. It's not for you to see it in writing. DOT already seen it. And second, why were you questioning her integrity? Why were you assuming that she's lying? Because when the hunting club was raided by 2 agencies, you stated, they're innocent before proven guilty. So why is Curvin not given the same courtesy? Why will you question her as being a liar? If she says she has permission of the owner, then she has permission of the owner unless you can prove otherwise. I really do not appreciate how Curvin is targeted repeatedly by board members because the community supports her 100%. No complaints are made by the community residents. In fact, many tell me how much they support her and how much they love her for being here and how they respect her for investing her dollars in this neighborhood where very few do invest in this area. We need investment here. So I really ask you, please, when you present Curvins, please refrain from your personal opinions. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your input, Roxanne. I think we can make a motion to adjourn. Who would like to make that motion?
A motion to adjourn the meeting tonight. Get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, members. Thank
Good
you,
meeting.
public. Thank you, bid.
Thank you so
Chris.
much. Thank you, Chris.
Stay safe.
Take care.
Good night.
Good evening, everybody.
Good night, all.
Take care.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.